Okay, technically, this is a stream restart because I can't get my numpad working. Doesn't matter. Long story. Now, I find myself in a Mercedes Actros. I don't know a lot about these. Like, it's a powerful truck. A lot of people's favourite truck, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's just marketing. But it's nice because I bought my own truck in the game, and now I can access the freight market, not just quick jobs. And I can do some monster stuff like this massive truck chassis. There's a lot going from one end of Norway to another. I've got this going into that part of Switzerland there, but to be fair, I've already done that part of Switzerland. That heat exchanger is a little monstrous. Oh, we've got a bit in Germany. Ah, I do fancy doing that. Wait, where am I? I'm not in Germany though, am I? I'm in Denmark somewhere. I'm in Sweden. See, here. That looks like it should be a big, wide, a special load, doesn't it? Ah, now that covers some areas of Sweden that I haven't done before. Last time I was in here, maybe I was thinking that's where I want to do, but certainly that's where I want to do. So yeah, a bit of a beast this to 500 brake horsepower. Now I've been in the fastest vehicle I've ever been in my life, which isn't a huge achievement because I've been in many fast vehicles in real life. But my brother's Tesla 3 Series got to 60 in like 4.8 seconds. It was fast. It's Diablo, Lamborghini Diablo fast, you know what I mean? And I don't know how many brake horsepower that little beastie is. But imagine that's equivalent of, well, I suppose it's not hugely powerful though, is it? Very light and, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking. Trucks and cars. How do I get the engine started? Oh yeah. There we go. So my sat nav is routing me to the next job. That's cool. Alright, so handbrake off and let's go. Lovely. God, it's such a satisfying feeling. That's what I was looking for, you know, a quick bash of something before bed. I was like, what can I play that's really satisfying? And it's this. Wait. This is very satisfying. This truck game. I'm not getting a lot of feedback off the wheel actually. I don't know why. Maybe that's because I'm not really fighting the road. I am a bit now actually saying that. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Now that I've got my foot down. I don't know, sometimes I'm a bit dubious about the force feedback wheel and it actually turns out it's doing exactly what it's supposed to. Yeah, this feels a little bit like as you get to the extreme of the turn and the faster you go in, the harder it is to turn the wheel, I suppose. That's about right, maybe. It just feels really light, really expensive power steering. I mean, oh, I suppose different to the race car. Yeah, okay. And also I've just done a 1.5 hour drive. Real life, we did a 3 hour drive there and back, but so saying that, wait, oh it must be here. Compared to real life driving, is easier, isn't it? Real life driving is much more comfortable. This is why I'm going to go to a scrapyard and get a real car seat. In fact, fuck that. I'm going to get one of these truck seats. God, I worked for a place and we had loads of these knocking around just going to spare. I wish I'd had the foresight to... Well, I do have the foresight to just pick up random junk and hope at some point in the future it'll be useful. Generally it does. More often than not, by a margin. This is a load I haven't done before, so I'm going to do this. It's, you know, cars. Oops. I can't remember. You know, it's a certain type of, what is it? It's like, it's not a car load. It's like a, I don't know. There'll be a term for whatever this is. It probably was up on the screen a moment ago, and I just ignored it. But I always look at this. Yeah, for some reason, my accent was coming out Birmingham then. My name is Arthur fucking Shelby. Right. Anyway, I car transporter, isn't it? That's all it is. That's, you know what I mean. I didn't really have to put much thought into it. I just had to amalgamate two words, didn't I? Car and transporter, and there we go. I could have just worked it out. I suppose I did. I always look at car transporters. No, I don't always, but when I see them, I think that's insanely like fast and risky. Do you know what I mean? Like, how the hell do the cars not just wobble off it and go everywhere? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. At what point are these cars going to wobble off this fucking thing, just spill out down the motorway? And they don't seem to. They never seem to be like solidly on there though. It's just like sort of fucking ratchet straps. Do you know what I mean? Like I fucking use a ratchet strap in an emergency for a roof box or something, not fucking strapping a car to the back of a trailer, and expensive cars at that. I don't think I've got the fucking trailer on me. How have I managed to pull away without the bloody trailer? Where the fuck oh no. Okay. I was thinking, I thought just then I had really like ultra thin tyres. I was like, what the hell have I got? Got skinny tyres, but it's not. It's just the logo, isn't it, on there that I've spec'd up when I bought it from this Mercedes dealer in Newcastle. Yeah, normal tyres, aren't they? So what's happening here then? Why didn't it pick up the trailer? Because I pressed the button. Right. Oh, I didn't press the button. I just pressed enter. The button's T. Well, that spoilt any like level of immersion I was going to have in the game, because the trailer just translocated itself up to the left. How far is this journey? Let's do the stats then. Sunday 9 o'clock, and we've got a 19. Why have I ended up with a 19-hour journey on my hands? Got a 19-hour journey to Lithuania. Let's get going then. We've got a long way to go with this car transport. So let's just get a look at things here. So my intuition took me on the right sort of angle, but this is the only way I can get a good idea of how wide do I need to be going. And the answer is probably just really fucking wide. Where's he going? That car on the left. He's going across. There's another truck coming in. So, there. I suppose I just need to go wide, don't I, basically? I mean, it's not rocket science, really. Where was it? I saw a sketch, and it was like... There's like 3 professions that people use, don't they? And they say, oh, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. And the sketch was like some rocket scientists going, oh, you don't have to be a brain surgeon, that was it, something like that. And then the brain surgeons were getting together and they were like, oh, you don't have to be a blah blah blah. You have to be the... I'm still racking my brain for what that third profession was though, you know. I can't help myself. Built that way. Not brain surgery, it's not rocket science, it's not... I can tell you what professions aren't in there. No, that's brutal, isn't it, being mean like that? Oh, what the fuck? Driving. Because I managed that. You don't need much of a brain for that. Well, no, you do need half a brain. Fortunately, you can survive with less than half. Doesn't mean everybody else on the road will, though. Oh, now I've got my lights on. See what I mean? You can survive thereabouts. So, from what I remember of the Atros, is it hasn't got auto-sensing wipers. I think that was an added extra. Get those on. From what I remember vaguely of the Atros, I can't remember what I was going to say. It's the rain's distracted me. Have a look at my sleep. I think I'm going to be approaching sleepy time. Feels okay. I should have gone to... Oh no! I think I had a full night's sleep and then turned up to do the job. We'll find out. We'll find out. Oh. This is heavy rain. I wonder what the... I mean, I don't want to sort of glamorise violence and theft, but I wonder if there's been some, like, very well done steal all the nice Porsches off car transporter type theft in the past. I mean, you know, well, alright, let's get down to it. Has anybody ever had to drive, like, a car that they've stolen off a moving transporter? Do you know what I mean? Has anybody ever done that in the real world? Do you know what I mean? Or all the time? I don't know. Top 5. See, I don't know much about... I can't do top 5s like famous heists, because I don't know much about heists. I only know the... You know, the closest thing to the real stuff is like dramatisations and fictionalisations, if you know what I mean. I do sometimes wonder like that though, like, you know, we don't have eyes, sensors everywhere at all times in the world, like, there must be, like, what I wonder is, sometimes, is there an individual born that is an absolutely incredible mathematician? You know, like the story of Ramanujan, that born somewhere, just an incredible mathematician, and humanity as a species would be so much better served if we could identify this individual and give them whatever the fuck they need. You know what I mean? Now we're starting to sound like Harry Seldon and Psycho History or something like that, but is there somebody out there right now in a set of oppressive circumstances that we will never see, and I mean this is like a bit selfish, benefits of their ingenuity because of just the exploitative / oppressive socio-economic systems that has taken hold of the world. And I mean, at the end of the day it has, hasn't it? Mostly, you know, capitalism, bring democracy to the world, has pretty much got its tentacles everywhere. Apart from the few countries that it hasn't got its tentacles in, we've, in the West, labelled as, well, the outliers, aren't they? The dangerous, North Korea, do you know what I mean? China, blah blah blah. I mean, it does make you fucking wonder though, because I personally have never been to North Korea, and you could just, you know, it's not that far-fetched, the idea that, you know, you go to North Korea and you find it's this fucking utopian paradise, and that we've just basically been lied to this entire time, and the fucking Earth's flat. I mean, it's not far-fetched, because that's basically the story of any, what is it, like, is it, I always forget the name of this, like Plato's allegory or something. It's about the guys that only ever know the inside of a cave, and then one of them manages to get out and describe the outside world, but the other guys not only don't believe him because they're just cynical, and, you know, he had a habit of making up shit anyway, type thing. It's not that they don't want to believe him. It's they have no basis of reality by which to relate what he's describing to them. You see, and I think the psychologist who did the work on this was a guy called Vygotsky, I think. And he talked about like this zone of proximal development, this idea that anything you learn has to be enough similar to what you already know in order for you to integrate it within your existing framework of understanding. Anything too obscure to your current perspective and understanding of the world would be inaccessible to you. So like most people would not be able to understand and comprehend the mathematics of 11-dimensional shape stacking. Do you know what I mean? Like it just wouldn't be accessible. I say most people, myself included, obviously. And the reason being is because we don't have enough knowledge to relate that to. You know, maybe if we'd mastered 10-dimensional fucking mathematical theories, then we've got something close to, you know what I mean, though, or anything, or just fucking calculus or something. You're making me fucking yawn. I'm fucking empathising with the noises from an NPC. You know what I mean? That's not good. Like, yeah, no. So you can only really acquire knowledge just outside the edge of your existing knowledge, because you have nothing to relate that to otherwise. And actually, like, this is what he talked about. He's probably got evidence to back that up, several studies, and then probably over like the decades later, several other studies have been done to extend the theory and blah blah blah, right? But just when you think about it, it's a very plausible theory, isn't it? How can you integrate knowledge into your current understanding unless you have something to relate it to? Quite often when I've taught people, and just in conversation, I will use metaphors. But people do that all the time. You know, when you explain something to somebody and they sort of paraphrase it back to you, there's a good show of understanding, they will often say, oh, it's like this and that, and you're thinking, no, it's not, nothing fucking like this and that, but okay, I get how you've related that to it, so we'll accept that, yes. Do you know what I mean? Like, you made some connection there. So, now, Vygotsky's something sounding like that, isn't it? One of them foreign names. Zone of proximal development is, I don't know how we got talking about this. Well, I got talking about this, no we in this. No idea. Actually, it's quite interesting because when I was talking to my bro about his Tesla, there's a lot I don't understand about that car. Simply because, wait, where am I going here? I got nothing to relate it to. Do you know what I mean? Apart from like the electric motor in the fucking blender of my kitchen, I don't really understand. Right, let's just get this engine off. Get some good night's sleep. Good night's sleep. How long have I been asleep for? It was a long time, you know. Right, the handbrake's on, fine. Nothing behind me. That'd be nice if, like, by the time you wake up, other trucks have pulled up, do you know what I mean? Right, shush, shush, shush. I forgot about that teddy bear. And the Merc mug. Merc. I fucking hate Merc. It's just the sound of it, Merc. You know what I mean? I said on one of the videos to save a bit of space, blah blah blah, exploring Europe, you know what I mean? Whatever you got to market it as. Fuck off. Oh, come on now. You could let me... I couldn't fit it all on, so I abbreviated Mercedes to Merc. And I just hate Merc. It's just the actual sound of it, whatever that's called, a phoneme or something, the actual phonemic sound of it is just disgusting. There's another one that's similar that I just can't abide. Merch. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it, the word merch? It almost sounds like a portmanteau of, like, vomit and belch or something. Merch. You know what I mean? Ugh. Oh, wait, I'm not feeling too good. Merch. You know what I mean? Merch. And also, it's not just that it's a horrible sounding word. Usually it's associated with, like, people trying to grift you for money. You know what I mean? It's a grift, isn't it? Most of merch. Only the selling you shite, overpriced shite, for money. They're getting you to, like, advertise the brand. Do you know what I mean? I feel a wally buying an Xbox light, right? It's just like it's just the Xbox logo as an LED light. You know, it's diffused, it's white, and blah blah blah. Right? Nothing fucking special. I bought that for £1, right, off some lady at car boot. And when I got back, I had a quick look at what the retail price was, and it was 15 quid. I was like, and I felt like a prat for buying it for £1, because it's just fucking free advertising for Xbox. Actually, you know what though? Here's a difficulty, and this is like, you know, this is where sometimes I criticise our social system, but also recognise I'm just as fucking much part of it. So it is a self-critique, and actually, if anything, that's all I'm really bothered about. Anyway, you know, you guys, you do your own thing, really. No judgment from me. Well, unless you watch my videos, and then you'll realise there is plenty of judgment. But no, you do your own thing. Really, I'm just intrigued at what I'm up to, what my values and blah 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 is, and if I have to project a bit of that onto others, or if I have to offer a critique on our social system. So I was wondering about what was going on just then. Just somebody got pulled, and consequently find that critique equally applies to me. That's fine. But actually, I don't feel too bad about an Xbox logo, because I really like Xbox. I think they've done some great stuff. Personally, I like gaming. I like the industry. There's not much I don't like about the industry. I mean, people go, oh, well, of course, I suppose a lot of keyboard warriors are people who've got time to be keyboard. You can pronounce the name of the profession. No, a lot of the keyboard warriors. I don't know. I just get the impression from reading the comments that they're generally male. They've generally got disposable time. And a lot of the criticism in the industry, like, oh, Ubisoft, you know, they just reel out the same shit again and again, you know, same shit, different name. Or I don't know, like, oh, you know, Elite Dangerous, it worked on the PC, but then the developers withdrew support for it on Xbox. I'm doing that voice, the voice of anybody who makes a complaint. Just belittle and humiliate them. But not just that. Well, I don't know. There's like complaints about games in the industry, what the developers have and haven't done. Do you know what I mean? And blah blah blah. And a lot of that comes from a love of the game. You know what I mean? You don't criticise games you don't like. At the end of the day, you just don't play them anymore. That's it. You can't be bothered. Games you enjoy, tend to get onto the developers about. When Eurotruck wasn't working for me, I nagged the developers directly. You know what I mean? Didn't get me anywhere. There was actually some very kind-hearted individual in Steam on their forums that helped me out, but you only tend to go when you care about something. That's the only time you tend to actually want to criticise it to improve it. Otherwise, if you don't really care about it, you just abandon it. And I've seen the complaints in the industry, and actually compared to other industries, it's fucking nothing like any other industry. I mean, alright, let's look at finance. HSBC, fucking laundering, filthy blood money. Money where people have been killed, laundering money for fucking cartels. You know what I mean? How much more disgusting is that? Or the global economic crisis, or a fucking feudal, virtual, made-up monetary system based around fractional reserve lending. So ridiculous. With like the fucking... Oh, I don't want to go too much into the conspiracies, because some of it's like easily then associated with like, I don't know, racist conspiracy theories, and I don't want to entertain the idea of like racial groups manipulating other groups in positions of power, because I don't believe in any of that. So I tend to steer away from the reality. You see, what's happened is the world is dominated by a few wealthy people, those that own the means of production. Now, anybody who's got nous about them knows that I'm sort of going into Marxist theory. You can talk about Marxist theory and use Marxist theory as a framework for understanding without being a communist. You know what I mean? You can talk about Jesus's theory as a framework for understanding in regards to like human kindness and compassion to each other without subscribing to the whole of Christian orthodoxy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it hasn't got to be black and white. I must defend myself and shit like that. But those who own the means of production are dictating the lives of other people. You know what I mean? When like, whatever the stat is, you know, that crazy stat of 2% of people in the world own 98% of the world's resources. Well, yes, of course those 2% of people in the world are dictating what the rest of us are doing. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't put myself within that 2%, of course. But yeah, I mean, basically... Oh, where the f*** am I coming off here? So, let me just concentrate on this for a second. Oh. Here we go. Turning that wheel. It takes all my brain power. I cannot discuss Marxism whilst turning the wheel. And there is the problem. Champagne socialism. I can't actually discuss Marxism unless, as like the proletariat, as the truck driver. You know what I mean? I need to be pulled over. I need to become bourgeoisie. 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 I haven't said that word in a long time. Dwelled that up from the depths of my subconscious. The world is dominated by the haves, do you know what I mean? The wealthy elites, and they've obfuscated things. Maybe not by design, I don't know, I don't have enough information to say is it by design, is it a conspiracy, but essentially, you know, the media, everything is all pointing towards racial tensions. It fuels it, stokes it, it has done recently in Britain, and I don't want to be a part of that, because it's not a race thing, it's a rich-poor thing. That's the problem in the world. It's a rich-poor thing. It's a problem of distribution, it's a problem of equality, it's a problem of oppression and exploitation, of control, of dominance, of survival of the fittest. It's primitive in every way, and it's unkind. And that's nothing to do with race. There's no ethnic predilection towards evil. Do you know what I mean? There's no culture that supports evil. Do you know what I mean? There's very few religions that try and cast an evil agenda. Although I'm not really you know what I mean? Immediately when I say that, right, when I make any claim, my brain fires off 1,001 counter arguments. Do you know what I mean? If you get through my counter argument fucking barrier, then it's worth saying. But I sort of like let the bullshit free roll off the tongue. You know what I mean? And then come up with a counter argument, so I'll correct myself. And at the moment, as soon as I said there's no religion that, you know what I mean, espouses an evil agenda, you know what the counter argument that came up to me was? Happy clappy evangelical churches in Bible Belt America. With the fucking, you know, pastors that own 6 private jets, that touch people, cause them to faint and cure them, all of that rigmarole. That's what came up into my mind. All of that. Fucking hell. How... I mean, I don't know. See, sometimes they have my sympathy. The people that in such desperation that they turn up to these places and they give them the money. It's just desperation. That's all it is. You know what I mean? I hate the people who run this bullshit. Like, they disgust me. Like, real trash, right? But the people who turn up, they have my sympathy. And I sort of think, you know, like the families that have got, you know, the son's cerebral palsy, and they've spent £70,000 with the local ministry of bullshit pastor. You know what I mean? $70,000 have just lined his back pockets and helped him buy his. You know what I mean? They drive around in like $600,000 blinged out Hummer H3s and what have you. It's just crazy, isn't it? Like, what the fuck? How deep in this rabbit hole do you have to be brainwashed to like think that that's like the word of Jesus Christ? Do you know what I mean? It's just. So I feel sorry for the people in that situation. See, I think that's the one for trucks there. Oh, I've got no back window. I don't want to drive up here and find that gate doesn't open and there's some dickheads coming behind me. Let's have a look. Not going to open, is it? Come on. Oh, okay. Alright, so... what I'm going to do now... I'm going to go back out, turn around. I hope they never find out how much they've been hoodwinked. Do you know what I mean? Because if you were, I don't know, maybe I also think deep down these people know they're being hoodwinked. Because isn't there a romance scam? Isn't that what it's called? Like, won't investigative agencies refer to these things as romance scam, where you get some guy who's like written to some lonely lady and said, you know, blah blah blah, I'd love to marry you, I want to come over to America, I want to come over to America, meet you and make a love to you and be married and make you happy. And the woman's like, yeah, great. And then, I'm on my way, but they've stopped me at the airport, I need £20,000 to, you know what I mean? And then before long she's giving him like $500,000 of her savings. But when these women find out that the guy's con artist and they've been conned out of their money, they carry on. Now, part of that is humans find it very difficult to let go of something they think they've got. Do you know what I mean? And I'll come on to that point later if I remember, because that's a lot of the criticism of the game industry is exactly because of that human tendency. That's how these games sell stuff, because they give it for free but then make you pay to keep it, which is much more effective in terms of grifting you out of your money than making you buy it in the first place. You know what I mean? If I was given this, if I had to spend £5 on a Merc truck, right, and it was like the best truck in the game, I fucking probably wouldn't. Oh shit! Here's the problem. I don't remember where we're going. But if they gave me the Merc truck and I was like, oh, I love. And then after a few weeks, it's like, oh, but you have to now pay £5. Keep it. I'm going to be more likely to do that, aren't I? And they know this. But yeah, these women, when these romance scams, they don't like... When they find out, you know what I mean, somebody's got in touch with them and said, look, you're being scammed here. They don't suddenly drop the guys, do they? At all. They carry on getting scammed. They get embarrassed about it, you know, they keep it quiet, blah blah blah. Part of that is they don't want to let go of what they, you know what I mean, the delusion they had of romance. But also, in some of those cases, I don't know, minority, majority, I don't know. But in some of those cases, I suspect they already knew they were being scammed. And there was no, like, when somebody comes from, like, the action fraud in the UK is the guys that deal with this stuff, and pretty poorly, and I've had dealings with them, both, like, commercially, like, within a business role and also personally, but they're not great, fairness. Now, they're swamped, don't get me wrong, they're dealing with the big stuff, but that means that loads of fucking incidental cases they're not able to deal with, and therefore they're not able to have a big picture on the real, like, extent of fraud and who's carrying it out. Because if you're missing 20,000 small cases of fraud, you might be missing one big organised crime group that's getting away with it, and pretty smartly, because they've managed to do small isolated cases. You know what I mean? They've diversified the crime portfolio, haven't they? But anyway, oh, I can only go left, can't I? There we go. Yeah, so they already knew they're getting scammed, and I wonder if, like, some of these parishioners, I don't know what's the correct term to call them, that people end up, people who attend a parish, a church parish, you know what I mean? I think they know they're getting scammed. I think deep down they know they're getting scammed. I think deep down we all have an innate understanding of actually what life really is. And, you know, we have to, like, sort of brainwash ourselves with religious texts into somebody else's fictional idea of what life is. But I think deep down we all know, I know deep down we all know what life is, because I know if you undertake any, not to be cliche, spiritual journey by yourself, which is the only way you can undertake a spiritual journey. Not to say you can't involve others in your life at all, but really a proper spiritual journey and a proper spiritual understanding has to be undertaken personally, individually. Like, with the aid of a mentor is superb. It's a personal, it's an individual journey. And any revelations and truths that come out will be the same revelations and truths that anybody else who's undertaken a spiritual journey comes to the conclusion of. I guarantee it. If it's the proper journey. And now that sounds a bit weird, actually. Like, that's saying it's only a proper science experiment if the results match my own. But I don't know. Yeah, actually that is good, actually. I've done that. I've done what I said I always do, which is the counter argument. So how can I explain this then? Because here I am, myself, having undertaken a more than typical level of spiritual development, if you like. This isn't a one-upmanship. I'm not saying, you know, I'm spiritually there at all. I'm just saying I've spent more than the average bear time in pondering and meditation. And with no correlation to the amount of time I've had in, I've come to some discoveries and truths about the nature of things. And that whole journey for me was a process of deconstruction. It was a process of getting rid of knowledge. Knowledge that I just inherited without question, if you like, by our social system. And by deconstructing that knowledge, I lost knowledge and increased understanding. It's really fucked up when I say that, because it's so ironic. It's laughably ironic. I love it. I love the irony of a lot of spiritual development. I love how you can look back. Oh, I don't know how to explain this. I don't want to come off as pretentious, but maybe that boat has fucking sailed. Do you know what I mean? Probably. Oh god, I don't really want to be turning around like down banks and stuff like that, but nor do I want to be driving down this dodgy path here just to be bloody turning around. But it looks like it. Oh, with a fucking car transport. So what level of doo-doo am I going to get myself into here? I'm going to have to go wide now, aren't I? Oh god. And it's proper, like, you can feel it now, this path. It's proper rubbly. I thought it'd be like a, you know, like a nice driveway up to. It probably is actually. It's probably got a maximum gross vehicle load of like fucking 3 tons. And here I am, 21 tons, just ploughing my way down. Anyway, fuck it, I won't be long. The farmer's probably like in bed thinking, wow, what the fuck have I got? I know that milk delivery's late, but Jesus Christ, did it have to come at this time in the morning? Martha, I'm getting up. No, why would a farmer be having milk delivered? This is how little I know about the world. You know what I mean? Why would the farmer be having milk delivered to him? It'd be the other way around, wouldn't it? Oh well, what would the farmer have delivered to him? Probably hay, wouldn't it? Feed. Oh, there's somebody here. Oh my god, this is a big ass production farm, isn't it? Probably, it's one of those big ones. The battery hen farm, isn't it? Fucking foie gras. As much as, like, I am wholly appalled by the American food industry, and I mean appalled, right? It is pretty bad. And the FDA, it's like, I think they've been bought out, haven't they, basically? They've just been bought. The FDA are like the OPEC of the fucking food industry, probably. I don't know. And, anyway, they don't let the worst shit through, but oh my god. Anyway, I'm not getting into that, because that's a whole other rant for another day. And it will come. They all come out eventually. Right, that transport has survived. That's good news. Much as I'm appalled by the US food industry, when you hear of like really disgusting practices, things like the fucking foie gras, it's not in America actually. I mean, I don't know if foie gras goes on in America, but you know, that's a French fucking thing. It's absolutely disgraceful, and that's the French have it there. Japanese are pretty bad with their shit as well. Chinese are pretty bad, but China comes under a lot of criticism for like things like eating dog. Well, that's fluffy bunny syndrome. The vegans have it right. You can't really be going, oh, dogs, aren't they cute and wonderful? We shouldn't eat them. Because actually, if you spend any time around a baby fucking lamb or a calf, you'll know just how cute and wonderful those creatures are, if not more so. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, people eat venison without question. Jesus Christ, is there anything more wonderful in life than a baby deer, which is called a roe, is it? or a doe, or a foe, or a fowl, or a fawn. Fawn, fucking hell. Oh, nearly missed it again, you know. Jesus. Fawn, I got there eventually, I don't know how. Word linkage. As you get older, just stop blurting out words and hopefully they'll connect up and eventually you'll get to the word you're looking for. But, yeah, I need to pull over really and adjust this screen a little bit because it's a bit off centre, in fairness. Now, there is somebody behind me, bloody hell. What's this coming up on the left here? Is it a petrol station? Oh, no, it's nothing. There is something over here though. There we go. But I bet you, it's like the entrance is right this side, isn't it? Oh. Please don't bash my car carrier, because you came down that road a bit silly. It's busy at the time of night. Oh, I might as well get some fuel while I'm here as well. Okay? I'm about a quarter of a tank. And let's just turn off. I don't know. Once the engine off, but you don't technically need to turn the engine off to fill the gas tank. No, we're not in America, are we? The petrol tank. Well, it'd be diesel. I've never bothered filling the car while the engine's running. It's pretty bad, but I've seen other people just do it. We had like a fuel pump at my workplace. Oh yeah, I was going to get this OBS sorted. We didn't. It wasn't like a fuel pump. We had a fuel pump at my workplace, and the senior managers, of which there was about 8 of us, maybe. About. We were allowed to just help ourselves to free fuel. Wonderful. It upset me as like the newest addition to the management team, because I thought people were just taking the piss. Well, of course, that's what they're for, really, was to allow us to take the piss. Free perks and all that. You know, you've got to be careful, because that's like libelous. It's scandalous, isn't it? Or is it like a scandal? Not scandal. Whatever the word is, you know, libel and a verbal one anyway. What is it? But yeah, that was the point of it. Biker once took out the kettle from the tea room and put in an urn that boils the water so you can go in and instantly make a tea, and everybody in the building was like pissed off. I'd done that, and basically it's because they like to get together and have a natter while making a cup of tea and boiling the kettle. And so by putting in an urn, which was sort of deliberately why I did it, they weren't able to just congregate and natter whilst boiling the kettle because, oh, I thought I'd be coming back out on the main road, but I don't know. Because it was just basically standing around nattering because the tea was already made. And I think the fuel pump was a bit like that, really. But a lot of the other guys would just rock on up. And of course, well, the fuel pump wasn't there for the senior managers to just fucking help themselves. It was actually there for the staff to deal with vehicles and stuff, you know what I mean? To put enough gas in to test drive a vehicle that they were servicing or fucking, you know, whatever. And one of the guys was running a rental operation. Like, there was a rental department. I say that so informally, but there's a rental department and he would have to... I think he must have sent trucks out with a full tank, or I don't know. But anyway, So a lot of people would just leave the engine running. They'd pull up in the yard. My office overlooked this fuel pump. Pull up in the yard, get out, didn't turn the engine off, and just fucking straight in there with the old diesel and what have you. Oh yeah, it was diesel, because company cars were diesel, so yeah. I think there was a petrol one, but it didn't work anymore or something. It just turned it off. And then annoyingly, you like a couple of years later, we got acquired by a much larger company and forced to adopt fuel cards, which was still free fuel for personal usage for those of us who remained with the business. But it didn't half piss me off having to, because it was always like there was scrutiny. Do you know what I mean? I'd fill up the car with the company fuel pump, fucking off to Scotland for the weekend regularly, off to Wales, off to Scotland, off to the coast. Do you know what I mean? That was the whole thing of it. I drove everywhere, anywhere, everywhere, all the time. You know what I mean? I explored so much of Britain thanks to that fuel pump. So it was always lovely and convenient. But yeah, people used to pull up and just fill it up, and I'd overlook it and thinking, when is it going to go boom? Because also about 3 meters away from it, maybe a little bit more, 5 meters, was the designated smoking. Fucking, when I come to think of it, it was mad workplace. The smoking shelter was a bus shelter. It was actually a full-blown fucking bus stop put in the corner of the yard. It was so surreal, actually, when I think about it. There was one point where we ended up closing one of the sites, and we moved into another site. And then I think and it was a learning curve for the business that acquired us, and like massively. And they were just like, you know what, we just need to get a whole new site, right? Because all these sites are like fucking run down brownfield sites. So whilst that was happening, we then ended up moving out of this other site, which was only then which in retrospect was temporary, into another site that wasn't ready for us. So a lot of the administrative staff worked out of a porter cabin, including myself. And that was fucking surreal. And that was for like a couple of weeks. I think I spent most of my time at the other 4 sites of the business instead of that bloody porter cabin. But I had to wire... No, well, I couldn't wire it up because we had shit driving around the yard, and it was just too expensive to then properly wire stuff up, you know what I mean, with like a fucking... I don't know what it's called, like a gantry for carrying cables. So they were all on wireless networks, all of these porter cabins. I'd like set them up with like little point-to-point wireless transmitters. The whole thing was so precarious. And then I think I'd like written a macro for like the PC of the head of accounts to double-click it and reset the router or some fucking shit like that. Ah, it was mad. But because that would reset the one on their end, it wouldn't always reset the whole connection. But of course, if the connection was down, they wouldn't be able to communicate to the router on the other end of the point-to-point wireless transmitter. So I had to install the similar macro for the, you know, point A on like the PC of like the guy in the warehouse or something like that. Do you know what I mean? There was so much of that business. It's so funny because when I studied business, I did a degree in business, and when you look at business from an academic perspective, which many academics would admit, you've got like the very like rigid Michael Porter take on business, you know what I mean, with the rational thinking man at the centre, and every action is deliberate and decisive. And it's so funny because business is so messy and organic. Businesses that work, that thrive, are very dynamic, very messy, very organic. You know what I mean? Able to change, able to adapt quickly. Because, you know, especially in today's day and age, that market is changing dramatically. Day to day, you know what I mean? The job markets, etc., just look so different to 10 years ago already. It doesn't seem that different, but there's huge changes within each industry. You know, like you look at the healthcare industry, and They're just huge changes. And it's so funny that the way this business was run, because everything was very individual. You know what I mean? There was hundreds of staff there, but every responsibility sat with an individual, not an individual role, but like an individual person. And I'd come from a corporate background, and I was massively at odds with that, because in the corporate world, you make people dispensable. That people are like a necessary evil of the corporate machine, and that's not like a cynical view. That's just how it is. Like, the corporate machine is there to make money, and people are expendable in that. So you don't really want to have indispensable people, because indispensable people shifts power further towards the people of the business, and you don't want that, because when you have that power shift, you've got to increase their remuneration. Or why is that blinking green? Oh, it's going red, wasn't it? Well, good job there's no police around. 7:30 on a Monday morning. Just me and my truck. Alright, this one I won't be able to make it. Yeah, so much of like business from the owners and their representatives, the management, and that's where I always struggled, because I was always on the side of the worker, really. I really saw myself as on the side of the business, because to be on the side of the business is to accept a bribe, is to sell your soul, basically, because it is an us and them. Workers are an expense. Don't want to empower that expense to become more expensive, do you? Really. Yeah, it's a cynical view, but it's not a view that, like, it's just a view that I don't find controversial. It is just the facts of the equation, isn't it, really? Not to say that every organisation thinks like that, but increasingly so. Unless you do think like that, you're not going to be able to find yourself competitive in hyper-competitive industries, and eventually everything becomes hyper-competitive, because eventually every product and service becomes homogenised, doesn't it? I'm sure, I don't know if there's a theory about this, but I'm sure a commodity is a item which is easily comparable, so it just becomes a single homogeneous sort of product, doesn't it? And you've got, like, grain is grain at the end of the day, and therefore it's a commodity, because you can measure 1 metric ton of grain against another metric ton of grain. Same for a barrel of crude oil, etc. They're all commodities, and I think there is a process of, like, the commodification of all goods and services. Do you know what I mean? Eventually, storage, like, yeah, alright, this is a good example. Take cloud storage. This is a bit of a chicane, isn't it, here? Oh, we're going across the border. There was 1,001 different cloud storage providers 10 or 15 years ago, whenever it all kicked off. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't just OneDrive and fucking... I don't even know what the most popular one is. Like, there's Google One... Yeah, Google have called themselves one, haven't they? OneDrive wasn't called OneDrive. I'm sure Microsoft had 2 products. One was called OneDrive and one was called, like, Zoom Drive or something. I don't fucking know. And then there's, you know, there were loads of others, and now there's not that many. And the reason is because a terabyte of storage is a terabyte of storage online. It's a commodity, or it can be viewed as that. In reality, you've got access times, you've got point-to-point encryption. There's all sorts of different things to separate online storage. So it's not that easily comparable, but for most people, you can say, what's the cost of a terabyte of that? It's the commodification of products and services. Yeah, that's quite... Yeah, somebody must have had a theory about that. Surely. I'm going to have to Google it when I get off. And if not, I'll write about it. Or you write about it. If you're watching this, just write about it. How everything just becomes this bland comparison. And but everything can be commodified pretty much, do you know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about handcrafted artisan fucking, I was about to say something beads, but I'll just go with beads. What we're talking about is like, well, yeah, even those can become commodified, can't they, in some way? But yeah, it's just mad actually thinking about that. But basically, companies have to resist commodification of their goods. They have to come out with things to differentiate their goods from the rest of the market. So they can't just be compared on a simple figure of total cost of ownership. Do you know what I mean? Teslas have got to look... Oh no, I'm not coming off here, am I? Staying on. Teslas have got to look sexier than Nissans or Kias or whatever. You know what I mean? There's got to be something. I was impressed with my brother's Tesla because of the speed of it, but there's only pretty much one thing that impressed me about it, and that was the electric motor and batteries. Everything else was just a bit of fancy. Like, there was a tablet and there was like zone selectable, voice activated air conditioning, but there was nothing revolutionary about anything else in the vehicle. Like, I'll say that, I don't know what's behind the fucking plastic dashboard, you know what I mean, but like wood grain trim, you can get that on anything else, you know what I mean. Like, there was a distinct absence of like shit lying around, like buttons and knobs. It was all on that whopping great big tablet screen. But the only thing that impressed me was the electric motor. And if there's going to be anything that accelerates the commodification of cars, it's going to be electric cars, because there's such a variety in internal combustion engines, fuels and all of that stuff. Electric cars will just boil down to one metric. As long as the other aspects are like satisfactory in terms of size and safety and all that shit, it'll boil down to one metric, and that'll be the cost of running the car. And when people drop the boomer generation notion of ownership, because that is so outdated, isn't it? Ownership, land ownership, property ownership, it's just so fucking primitive. It's a problem, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? But when we finally, as a species, stop with this hang-up of actually owning goods, then that metric of the total cost of ownership of a vehicle will take us into the territory of nobody owns vehicles, we'll all be fucking leasing them. And we won't even necessarily lease them on a contractual basis. We might just lease them on a spot hire program. How long have we got on this? Because I can't keep this up, I'm so tired. We've got, oh, 1 hour. 1.5 hours. Apologies for that. Like, claiming I can't keep it up, but yeah, I am struggling. I've had a long day, a really long day. Not much sleep last night. And I need a nap. I like that little bobblehead dog. It's cool. Adds a bit of dynamism, dynamite, dynamatically. It's like the cab with its nodding head. Because otherwise you could just think the cab was like a bitmap, do you know what I mean? There's that little nodding head thing that makes you realise, oh no, it is a three-dimensional in-world object that I can look around and... Oh, I tend to veer off. But yeah, I might pay for lane assist, you know, in this game, and then I could have a snoop around, couldn't I? I don't know how it kicks in, what it does. It must just presumably keep me within the lane. So cruise control and lane assist, and then I can have a better wander, snoop around than at the moment. Actually, partly I am tired, and I feel warm as well, and dehydrated. But also, it's crazy. I've done a 3-hour drive today and not had a problem with my buttocks. And I've sat on this fucking office chair for like an hour, and my arse is killing. So disappointed with this office chair. I'm having to like stand up now and just take some weight off my bottom, and I don't know what it is about this chair. I have no idea. Wish I just understood these things. Actually, no, it's worse than that, because I'm like, who would understand this thing? Who would understand why my chair makes me uncomfortable? And it's like, would it be a physiotherapist, an occupational therapist, a chair salesman? Do you know what I mean? Like, somebody with just half a brain. You know what I mean? Who would? Because if I could figure that out, I could then put myself looking at the chair through the perspective of a physiotherapist, perhaps, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Without the degree. But I don't know what it is. I just, oh God. I've tried all sorts of configurations of cushions, positions, heights, leaning back and forth, and it's just so... It's agonising by the end of the session. I'm so sorry, I'm so fucking desperate to take some of the weight off my bottom. And it's both sides as well, it's symmetrically, difficult. So, yeah, let's use some logic and analysis. It's symmetrical, so... What does that tell me? That it's not like... Maybe it tells me it is a design issue and not a fault issue. If there's a fault on one side, if something's snapped off, not giving enough tension, blah blah blah, then it'd be on one side. So, more indicative of a design issue. Oh, I just need a new fucking chair. Fuck it. Get one tomorrow. Can't go on like this. What I don't want is a garish gaming chair. I don't think I could hack that. I don't want something that... You know, I don't mind the shape, I just don't want like bright green fucking shit on it. You know what I mean? Like... That's another weird thing about the gaming industry, as much as I enjoy it, is there is this idea of like a gamer, and people have asked me in the past, are you a gamer? No. Playing video games is not an identity, it's just a fucking pastime. You know what I mean? It's no more of a pastime than like enjoying playing fucking table tennis, you know what I mean? You wouldn't go, oh, are you a table tenniser? Because you've seen somebody playing table tennis. No, I'm not a gamer. I just enjoy occasionally playing video games. It's not an identity. But what, is this where we're going? Oh, we're taking it to what makes sense is a car dealership. So, where do you want it? We're only getting 40 XP, so this isn't going to be a mad one. Well, I don't think it should be a mad one. Here we go. I'll set up this next part. Now, sometimes I've been tempted to reverse straight back into it, but it never works for some reason. So let's go at angles. Play the angles. Oh, oh, oh! I've got to swing around now. And then, can I compensate or am I too late? I'm too late. Well, I'm parked, so I don't know why I'm bothering backing up, but let's get it spot on. I won't go as far as saying perfect, but no, fuck it, perfect. Been off. Oh yeah, I've got to unhitch it. I also forgot to hitch the damn thing. Oh, well, got an excellent 30 hours. Oh, I thought it was a 19-hour drive. 400 litres of fuel. Nice. Oh, got my little number plate there as well. That's pretty. Trade plates. So I think from where I am at now, in the middle of Lithuania, really cool. I'm pleased about that. I would like to go into Latvia. I think what I'd like to do is do this by distance. Oh. Right, it's going the wrong way. It's not even near me, that. Wait, where am I? Get this place. What's going on? Jesus Christ, we're back. Via land as well. Why is that going via land and not by ferry? What is it about that load? So, is it long? Huh, that's pretty cool, the cement mix. Goes up the coast. Oh, that's mad. Load island. That's tiny, isn't it? That. How much are you getting paid for that? 12. Just 2 tons of hydrogen. $500-mile journey, 14 hours. It'll be good fun. Up into Switzerland. Finland, sorry. A lot of these could be good. But I think 2 tons of hydrogen way forward. Get my fucking head off, won't it? Oh god. What time is it? Because I've got shit to do tomorrow. Right, I think I'll just pick up that hydrogen. And then I'm not going to get going. I'll just literally pick it up, ready for next session. At least I've put some thought into like what I'm doing, where I'm going, and stuff like that. Right, It's actually not that close by, it's about 14 miles away. Which is a bit of a trek. I'm surprised. I clicked on the place. just down here. NS Chemicals. I'm gonna have to be careful with this hydrogen, aren't I? Now that I'm on it, I'm just like, oh no, I'm really hot at the moment. I've got no cooling on. Why is that not letting me in there? Oh. Oh, this isn't the proper one, is it? This little place here. Go on then. Come on. Oh. Put it in the wrong gear. Right. No, I thought he was coming up to say something. I'm in for the freight mark, yeah. Of that thing. Trailer is ready. Proceed to the loading area. Where is that then? Over here. Oh, that's in my mirror. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's only a diddy thing, 2 tons. Hydrogen's lighter than air, isn't it? But I think 2 tons is just basically the weight of the trailer and the fucking container, and that's it, really. Fine by me. Oh. Oh. Okay, get that hitched up. Oh. Bet you I can go fast with this thing. But all I'll do is all I'm gonna do is pull over and find somewhere to sleep. That is it. I'm not doing 14 hours on this fucking butt numbing cushion. And hopefully without crashing, because it's, I don't know how much hydrogen is in this thing. I only know the weight of the thing. I mean, it's 2 tons the entire thing, but it's a fuckload of hydrogen. That doesn't look like it's good enough to store. It just looks like a container, doesn't it? It doesn't look like it's good enough to store hydrogen. You'd expect like a tanker, wouldn't you? Not just a fucking rusty old container. What do I know? I'm not going to go out of my way to, like, I'll stick to the routes. That's why I'm driving this. Like I said, I'm not going to be driving it for long, but what I ain't going to do is take much of a diversion just to go to sleep. I'm looking for a bed, really. Petrol, that's better than nothing. Yeah, truck stop around there. Oh, wait, I'm turning left anyway. Bollocks. Oh, but the petrol's up there. truck parking here? There is parking. Is it truck park? Yes. Go. Sleep here. Right. Get those lights off. Oh. Do at the window if it's up or... Right. I'm off then. Been a good old sesh. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.